This review will cover the Gulf Breeze sightings. Gulf Breeze is a small town in the state of Florida, which has 6,000 people in it. It all began when an individual down there named Ed Walters was in his den one night, and he noticed a bunch of lights in the sky, and he went outside and he photographed them. The lights appeared to be quite dynamic, colorful, and they alleged to show a flying saucer. And the pictures he took were sent to the Gulf Breeze Sentinel. And this took place in November of 1987, and they published the pictures, and the pictures garnered a lot of attention locally there, as well as nationally. Even the television show Unsolved Mystery covered the sightings. And here's a little information about Gulf Breeze. And one moment, please.
Something is happening in Gulf Breeze, Florida. Rod Serling himself couldn't have come up with a stranger sequence of events. Gulf Breeze is a beautiful, affluent community of 6,000 on a peninsula near Pensacola, Florida. It is here, on a quiet residential street, that a person known to us only as Ed spotted a strange object floating above his house. November 11, 1987. Ed snapped 5 photographs that day and changed his life forever. Over the next 7 months, he saw the object several times, shooting another 36 pictures with 3 different cameras. Witnesses include his wife and kids, family, friends, neighbors, and even city officials. 2 other people allegedly photographed the same object. Could it be a secret military device? Gulf Breeze is literally surrounded by military bases, but the public information...
As you can see, the pictures there are quite defining, and you can see why they created quite a bit of interest. Now, in addition to that, Ed is not the only person down there that took video or pictures of lights in the sky or alleged flying saucers, and here's some additional footage. And let me get this on the screen. One moment, please. And
which in slow motion doesn't look like a missile or known craft. Nor does this, which moves like the one in Walter's beach video. Here's a similar one in a third clip. It shows the craft becoming a silver streak, zooming away. In addition, this UFO recorded over Gulf Breeze by a UFO investigator named Michael Hawkins, which has stunning similarities to what Walters had first photographed and videotaped in 1987, seems to have the same kind of otherworldly propulsion capabilities.
And as you can see, that's quite clear as well. And that was taken at night in Gulf Breeze, and that, as I stated earlier, was not taken by Ed Walters. So there's other people who support his assertions. Now, Ed has some critics out there, and as well as some supporters. And here's a supporter of his. Let me get this on the screen. One moment, please.
Gulf Breeze resident Ed Walters has also captured a new UFO on film. This Polaroid instant picture shows an unidentified craft offshore with what appears to be waterspout activity just below it. Optical physicist Dr. Bruce McAfee enlarged and examined the snapshot, and he sent us this lengthy report. In his opinion, the waterspout UFO is not a fake. Dr. McAfee, a civilian scientist with the U.S. Navy, joins us now to discuss his findings. Dr. McAfee, you conclude that this photograph is not a fake. Does that mean it is a genuine UFO?
I'd say the chances are very small that that could be a hoax. In this case, the sighting, as reported by Ed, lasted a couple of minutes at the most, but to put a large object out there in the middle of Santa Rosa Sound would probably take hours.
Dr. McAfee, Ed Walters has been a key figure in the photographs and in the logging of activity in Gulf Breeze. Is it likely that one individual would be more prone to see and experience UFOs than some other individual?
Ed Walters certainly has been a focus of a lot of attention, but for about 2.5 years, starting in November 1990 and running through July 1992, a group of people I call the Gulf Breeze research team down there went out virtually every night, logged about 180 or so sighting events, a few of which Ed attended. but most of those.
And as you can see, that's Bruce Maccabee, the famous physicist, and he studies the UFO phenomenon quite vigorously, and he supports Ed. Now, Ed does have his critics here, and let me put one moment, please, and here's someone who does not believe Ed's pictures to be authentic.
And has been with the Jet Propulsion Laboratory for 16 years. During that time, he's exposed many UFO photos as hoaxes. Our staff gave Dr. Nathan several of the negatives in the hope that his advanced techniques in computer enhancement would shed some light on the controversy.
I'm not too comfortable with the Gulf Breeze photographs. I feel that many of these images are double exposure photographs. The craft in many of these images seems to be a different focus, that they're either more sharply focused or fuzzier than the surrounding background objects. The spacecraft appears to be rather bright. It's as if there is some kind of external light shining on it. The situation that would arise if the craft were in a room at an earlier time with room light shining from all directions. It seems that in quite a few of these pictures, the very top and bottom of the spacecraft are very sharply cut off, whereas the
And as you can see, that's one of Ed's critics out there. And a model was found in a residence that Ed once occupied. Now, whether or not a model of a flying saucer, and whether or not it was planted or not, or Ed made it and used it in his video and pictures, remains unclear. When that took place, it was covered by several television shows which cover the UFO phenomenon. And Ed once appeared on a talk show debating the famous debunker Philip Klass, and here's a picture of Ed and Philip Klass debating some of the issues, and that's Ed right there on the left with Oprah Winfrey on the right. And let me get this on there. One moment, please.
In a house that I used to live in a year and a half ago was an effort by whomever to discredit the sightings. And it shows me that there is a very definite cover-up going on trying to make this phenomena go away. And any big case that happens across the United States will be ridiculed. And I've heard these same stories, unsubstantiated stories about models and witnesses coming forward over and over, and there's no truth to them.
Okay, you say what, Howard?
Nonsense. The model is made with a drawing with Ed's own handwriting on it. The mayor has investigated, has found that Ed and his wife went back to City Hall and...
Go ahead, let him finish, let him finish.
It's the mayor's word against you, and you have 2 convicted felons.
And that's Philip Klass, the famous debunker, and him and Ed debated the issue. And since that time, Gulf Breeze, Florida has become a major hotspot for UFO enthusiasts, and they flock down there and they take video as well as pictures. And that's still going on today. And whether or not Ed's pictures were authentic, or the other pictures down there or video were authentic or fraud, remains unclear. And so the mystery continues, and hopefully everything uploaded there and the pictures came out good. If you've heard about this case before, hopefully a quick flashback. If not, if this is you're hearing about for the first time, hopefully you found it informative. And let me get one moment. And here's the picture that's largely considered to be the best of the group, and this is the picture of the UFO taken on the road by Ed Walters through his truck. And let me get that on the screen there. And that should do it.